All right. That's Mikey. I go by Poppy Earth. How you feeling, brother?
Aloha, brother. Feeling pretty solid. Pretty solid. It's there's a lot has happened since we split our little paths just a week ago.
Yeah, this is a week ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, today.
and
So you want to share? Can you share some of your journey?
yeah. I mean, so like
The
when we
highlights, maybe.
first, yeah, it's a split because the main thing I wanted to tell you was Calpo. We were at Calpo, and um, there's like supposed to be the full moon and all of that stuff. Like a whole party and everything. But when we got there, well, I got there early, a couple hours before sunset, so it was pretty chill. But I'd say around sunset, the like cops started to roll in, and there was like a fishing tournament going on over there. So there was that, but then the cops got called and basically stayed there for several hours with their lights off, and then before they left, they did like a public service announcement to everyone up and down the whole beach, saying to if they're not associated with the fishing tournament to leave or they'll get cited. And I mean, that's more than enough for most citizens to pack up and leave. So, in which 80-90% of them did. And but no, I stayed. And at first, I was like, I like went through it in my head, like, should I pack up? And I was like, first off, I don't feel like doing that. Second off, that would be very citizen of me to do that, to just to do that just because, And I mean, there was nothing going wrong. There was nothing happening. There was nothing. Nobody was doing anything wrong. And, but yeah, it was. Most people left, and they talked to everyone up and down the beach too, who had like a setup. But I even threw them shotguns as they passed, but they just like act like they didn't. I wasn't there. Like they didn't stop and talk to me and tell me I need to pack up and go.
You mean later,
But
after the time they already put?
no, like when they were going up and down doing that, they were doing the public service announcement up and down the beach, but they
Okay.
were also stopping at individual setups.
So, and then after that time, they gave a deadline, or else they're gonna get cited. Did they come back at that time and cite everyone? And how?
No, no, they didn't
Where
say
did?
anybody because they
Oh,
knew they couldn't. They were just they couldn't tell people to just leave, so uh, they didn't
but
cite nobody.
isn't that what they did, or was it they told people they did the like if in the future then we're going to, but then
No,
they
no,
just
no. They just it's just they're just a bully tactic. Like, oh, we're going to do this. Like, oh, now this time I'm gonna let you off with a warning, but next time, no, it was like no, they just flexed and they didn't have any volition of following through with it because they know they couldn't.
wow,
So
interesting.
they just wanted to clear out as many people as they could. You
Got
know,
it. They were like,
and
yeah, this will be safe tonight now.
yeah.
All the gasoline for the fire has left, and these are the ones that are one with the island and don't fear us.
Yeah, pretty
And we
much.
know they won't pay any fines we write. That guy looks like he might have something up his sleeve, even though he's
I know
not wearing a shirt.
I had my paperwork all out and everything, and I was
Got your
ready.
flag up?
I was ready. I wouldn't have the flag. I'm slacking there, but I had all the paperwork ready. Nope, they
Yeah.
just rolled right past me.
So
So that was a big one.
that's dope. I
Yeah.
real quick, I'm like fixing up my cabin and remodeling it. All it's like super bougie now. But I was like, "Oh, I get a flag and put it up over my little cabin as my little zone."
There
Because
you
it's,
go.
this is the now space. It's official. And I was like, "Should I get a
Yeah.
pole?" I'm like, "That's a little too much for the rainforest, but just a little one over the top front corner or something."
Maybe you can like
And
a piece of bamboo. That'd be your pole.
yes, that's genius, dude. So,
Yeah.
for anyone listening who's not, we're kind of like talking at a certain level, but we're talking about a Title IV United States flag, which is not used by the government. They use mutilated versions of it, um, and we have authorization to use the Title IV United States flag, which is not establish legal or common law jurisdictions, but instead the now space venue which is outside of the fiction, which we may or may not get into the general dynamics of on this podcast. But we're just, Mikey and I haven't seen each other for a week, and we're just catching up on all the shenanigans, syncing up, and we're just going to see where it goes from there. So thank you, Mikey, for sharing. Anything else on that night you want to share?
Yeah, no, it was a great night. It was an awesome night. I mean, after they left, it was just super chill and like the whole vibe just kind of like mellowed out.
That's awesome.
Uh, and then like I had like some neighbors and they were super chill. It was like this, it's like it was like this older chick and this like chick my age kind. And they were just chilling and I ended up kicking it with them for a bit. And but it was making friends. I met a lot of people because I posted up like right on like the path, right on the path. So like everyone was walking past, I was saying hi and like meeting new people. So it was cool. And yeah, but event those that lady I was chilling with, super cool. Like, just gave me an ounce of weed. Just gave me it, you know. And she
As
said
is
that
your
was,
birthright, sir.
yeah. I'm like, all right. So I mean, like, I was passing it out like candy and rolling joints.
Nice. Perfect.
Yeah,
That's your
yeah, those,
style. Isn't
yeah.
that
It
the
was a
point of why we're getting into all this like contract stuff? Is so that we could chill more and just roll more joints with our leisurely time and
right.
whatever we feel like doing next.
Yeah.
The,
So I mean, it
the now
was
space
overall
is
awesome.
secure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Eddie's.
thinking, Eddie's gentlemen. That's a good one. If
Yeah.
I do it with like Eddie's gentlemen, like hell of honor, they're like, oh okay, yeah okay. I was almost triggered, but I feel more chill. Oh, what was I gonna say? I don't remember. It's gone. There's always stuff going on. Well, that's awesome. Oh, that's what it was. I was, getting visions, and I'm like, my ego strategy or some part of my tuition's like, we want to see, you, me, and the collective want to see locally on Maui some contract performances, not just sending them, but like, okay, fiction, these are the terms of the contract, and then they did what we said on record, and because the collective's mind will be like, oh my god, differently. And then I was sitting with that, and your story backs up exactly what I'm thinking, or what I was downloaded immediately next was that the field is just getting out of our, or the fiction's just getting out of our way and not even looking at our frequency magnetically at all. It's like invisible, and then if their soul is more alive, then they'll see us and kind of like give us the nod on the soul level. But
Yeah.
just totally cruise by, not even investigating shift, because the truth is, dude, we got a lot of the keys and codes to be honorable, be respectful. But besides that, we just are doing solid frequency things in the community. And they're not, they actually have things to do. And so that's all flowing really well. I'll get into some other contract specifics another time. But I have been sitting with these ideas and getting tons of vision since I've been here, man. The energy is wonderful. For anyone watching, I recently moved to East Maui, the Hana site, and I'm straight up in the rainforest. It is so many of my dreams just came true. It is truly abundant, bro. Like they already have so much food growing here, and the extras are like going bad. Like there's just hella taro, hella what are they called? Papayas and hella fruits that I don't even know what they're called yet. And whoa, someone's doing hard work outside. Um, I've since I've landed here, the only money I've spent is $30 on trees, and that's through Cash App. But aside from that, I looked at my bank account. I'm like, it hasn't gone anywhere. It just sat there. I've just been eating off the land and drinking great water. The water is from a nearby stream. It is filtered in the house, and then it's filtered again through the Berkeley system, whatever that tower thing is. And I'm getting way more shredded farming. I'm like next level shredded already, and
Same.
my digestive system, all this great water and all this food from the land is just pulling it at me. I've had some pretty big purges in the AM, naturally and healthy, but it was like, dude, how is there so much in there? I was already pretty lean, but it's just that deeper stuff. And I'm like, I think I'm already cleansing my gut. I mean, I'm getting downloads on what to do next, but it's just coming out. And the peace and serenity here definitely shows me how busy my mind still is. And it's already getting better since I've been here. And I've done a lot of work to get where it is. But it's just so obvious. Like, my cabin is pitch black at night. It's not only away from the city, it's under trees. So if there's a full moon, it's blocking all that too. And I hit the lights off and I'm like, oh my God, it's so dark. Like, and then every little noise you're hearing, which are usually just like a lizard or I don't know what the squirrel things are called, but like there's hella frogs and they're all super DMT mystical looking. Like they're old, their eyes look old as time. And I have blue lotus growing outside of my cabin in the pond outside my cabin.
Oh, but you have
So
some awesome dreams.
yeah, it's deep, dude. And so I get a garden bed that I can grow as much as I want, of whatever. There's a lot of things on tap, and there's just so much to learn. I'm like, okay, one step at a time. Like, I learned how to make coconut milk today. I haven't done it yet, but I learned. And we have fresh coconut milk every day in the fridge anyway. I didn't like totally need it, but I want to start growing teas, pu'er tea, and find out the ingredients for Thai iced tea. Definitely want to get those going. The root beer stuff, dude, help me get the ingredient list. I will grow all of it. I will grow
Sure,
all of it.
sure.
It's we got space and super fertile. Anything, any cool seeds, bring them here. We'll throw them in the ground. And so I have like I'll get like a patch of be able to grow a lot, but then I'm also going to grow outside of my little cabin and landscape that out and plant the soursop seeds that we had our little soursop kids, and they'll be growing right outside the front door. So it's
Go.
sick.
That's what's
And
I'm
and
ready
I
to them.
real well, I don't have them here yet. Julie's holding on to them, keeping them alive.
Oh, okay.
So I couldn't fit everything on the moped. It was quite packed.
Yeah,
Um,
I just Julie told me that your ride fell through.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
most of my stuff is in Kula because another friend became a super friend and she came swooped it all. And then
Oh, okay.
yeah, Amanda, who was teaching us dance lessons, she just stepped up. She's like, "I'll come through," and she had a minivan, so I threw my stuff in there, and she just has it at her place in Kula because she has an extra bedroom. Which in this we had a so I was hanging out with her and Emily, and the conversation was like a little citizen boring for a minute, and I was like doing the Shambhala, sending the golden light from under the navel to them, like getting the higher selves involved, and we did crack open the portal a little bit and get some energy moving. So Amanda works for the election committee or whatever for Hawaii, like whoever sets up all the ballots and all that stuff.
Okay.
And I was already like talking about like yeah, like dessert, she was expressing her feelings on certain things about like oh we need to start gardening and creating affordable housing and things. And a lot of these things had words in it that were not weren't powering to the situation. And so we are getting into it and untying some of those knots, and there was a little resistance and triggers. And I one of the things I said was the system will pay you well if you give your essence to like keep it strong and healthy and alive. Like if you're administrating on its behalf, it will take care of you. Doctors, lawyers, all you guys, you go get hella paid, you
Straight up.
know, straight up. And then so it turns out, people are struggling out, or a lot of people are working super hard, two jobs just to pay their super high rent. And she's like, she doesn't even have a roommate. She got a two-bedroom or whatever, and she has a work stipend because she works for the government for the elections committee. Perpetuate the fraud and the fiction, the show. You need great showmanship. You need to be cozy. And
Yeah.
so she had extra room to keep all my stuff. But we did get into it. We got deeper into it when it was just her and I later that night. And it didn't hit a super flow because the soil wasn't totally fertile, but it got J-damned for sure. Like it cracked open. And she's got a sweet heart. It's just so many knots tied to the system in the mind that were blocking the vision. And I do feel called to connect her with you. She's super cool, super sweet, great person, amazing dancer. But I see her heart is in the right place. It's just I can only imagine. I was just getting intuitive downloads to connect her with you. So if you're open to that, I would love to.
Yeah, for sure. Well, sorry, one side note. Another
Yo,
thing is, uh, with that night, this ties into what you were just saying, but that night on
Shit.
Saturday, I did spin fire again for the first
I was
time,
gonna ask.
and it was amazing. It was amazing. I loved it. And but as I was when I was done spinning and the light went out, who was standing there? Was Jill, Journey Jill.
Oh no way.
Yeah, she was standing there, and she was like, "Oh, it's
Wow.
you." So it was great to meet her out there like that, and we had a great talk and we connected. And I told her I wanted to connect more with the community because she's always doing events and that kind of stuff. So connecting more. That's where I was going.
Word. Word. Yeah, I support that. That's super synchronized.
Yes.
Shout out to the universe. When
Yeah.
I, yeah, things are flowing kind of super easy. I was in my head like, oh, if they got an older mattress and I want to get a new one, but what's organic? And I got to do that research. She shows me the cabin, brand new bamboo mattress. She bought me a brand new I'm like, it's already solved. It's a bamboo, a brand, an organic mat. What? All right.
Made right here on the land.
Bamboo everywhere. And then I go down to the local hangout spot is literally at the road next to our property. And it's like the only people
Yeah.
congregate in the community right
Yeah.
down there. And there's a fruit stand, right?
Yeah.
And I see little kava for sale. And I say, "Hey, how much is the kava?" "Oh, it's this much, whatever, you get a discount." I'm like, "Cool." She goes, "But like, like you can just get, pull the kava from the land and do it." And I'm like, "You guys grow kava here?" She's like, "You haven't seen, there's like a huge kava situation, like 50 yards that way. Huge.
Nice.
It's like probably way more than I can imagine." And she goes, and I said, "Oh, that's amazing. Do you guys know that there's no kava bar on this side of the island, on this whole side of the island?" And they were like, both her and the gentleman, the owner and the gentleman sitting there just chilling, were like, "You should do a kava night," and everyone would come through. Like, like, like that would be great, but let's start with once a week. And she's like, "If you're willing to do that, then, start it." And I'm like, "We're about to start a kava bar right on the side of the road." It was that easy. First 3 minutes of showing up to the thing, and there's hella space, and they're both saying the whole community will show up for that. Everyone will show
Oh.
up if you do that. And I'm like, I'm definitely gonna DJ.
Mhm.
Super simple. And it's all kind of been like that. Like, I have no concerns for currency. I'm not even generating any at this moment. I have zero concerns about that. I could get by with never using it again. I will because I want certain fancy things, but
Right.
like just a little more steps this way or that way, all the food and drink is everywhere, and it just requires your hands and volition to bring it into food format. Some of it you can just eat right off the land. There you are. So a lot of it's just peeling back my mind. My peace and my happiness is like kind of cruising at a high the whole, and it's way easier. There's just, even if I do nothing, you can look at anything and it's so much space and it's so quiet. So I'm definitely excited for you to get out here. I'm feeling it out, but I can imagine pretty soon. Um, I think she'll love you. I think she's having like more guests. There's a farm. I'm in the farmhouse right now because the paint's still drying in my room and I don't want to sleep in those fumes. But there's like, this farmhouse is huge with the most epic view in the freaking universe. Like, rich as fuck. Like, yesterday I was walking around like, I am rich as fuck. No, like, actually, I got great air, great water, great soil, great food, great views, great high conscious beings around me. There's river over here flowing with current to the right. There's ocean over there. It's just all the things that I would have to work hard to get currency to buy this. It's just like here already, straight to source. I'm at the source, and it's obvious in my face now. So instead of I've gone knowing it was possible and fathoming it to just being like it is already normalizing and programming the subconscious mind and just my actual now skipped all the there was no mortgage involved or any of that weird stuff. So I'm loving it. I'm feeling good about it and excited for you to see it, man. I don't know if you've seen the Greater Farm, but it's pretty big.
No, I've just seen like the main fruit stand and that little trail.
Nice. So, anything else on your heart or intuitively that is coming up for this first podcast show? I don't know what
Um,
podcast, I suppose.
yeah, it was like going out back out into the community. It's and like just every day, how I am. Uh, it's very curious to see where people are at and uh, like the level of worry and fear people have, the amount of how much we have worked on that,
And
and
real quick, level.
just in general, like life, what's going to
Mm,
happen, or
ah,
you know, just anything. I mean, it's yeah, it's just people, just general worry and fear in life, no matter what's happening, or and I'm like, wow, okay, and it just really helps me see where I'm at, and it really is just chill. Like my heart is calm, like no
good.
worries, even if there is uh energy around, like
Hakuna
you know,
Matata.
yeah, yeah, for
We
real,
made it, bro. Hakuna Matata.
yeah, and it's like yeah, I'm ready to do some work for the community and like stuff like now space work, not like future work, kind of like I mean just like
Word.
stuff that pops up in the field.
Yeah,
Uh,
so just to catch up anyone listening, Mikey and I lived together until a week ago. We've been laying a solid foundation with our minds and knowledge on postal mechanics, quantum syntax grammar, and the now space venue, which the now space is all around us at all times, but we're holding a shared frequency of correction because the legal fiction system is operating rogue entirely, and we are anchoring in a peaceful transformation and transition into the now space for our local community, the island of Maui, as the first territory to fully shift into now space territory with its like community support systems of safety and health, etc. So Mikey is in the field, moving around the island more camping style, nomadic, and I am on the east side of Maui because I hear this is where the sovereign's frequencies are, and I feel called. I've been called out here on many levels, but to network with the community as well, and start bringing closure on a lot of these dynamics, as well as performance, but closure on words and the state of the system. Because if you have not heard, the United States of America ceased to exist in 1999 and the U.S. corporation has been operating rogue since then without authorization to be here. Uh, and so closure's coming. If that's the first time you heard it, that's cool. Letting it out nice and easy. But a lot of people are living in fear of many things, and this is one of the things. And so Mikey is conveying his excitement to create things in the now space now. And I believe I know that shifting out of our last living situation, as blessed as we were, we've come out of the cave, the inner work chamber, just combust, and then we're on two sides of the island, greeting it, moving this energy, and this is our first podcast. So as we do these performances, we're going to be sharing it all with you, offering a lot of keys and codes. And that's why, so when we're talking, we're just going to talk at the level that him and I communicate at, and that's going to be great for everyone to listen to. And if you have questions, please send them our way, either DMS or wherever you're seeing this podcast, throw it in the comments. I heard this platform, you can have call ins. I,
oh, that's cool.
yeah, like a
We'll
radio
take a
show.
caller, please.
we'll take a caller at this time.
Yeah.
So we'll work up to that. I'm feeling good about our first podcast, but this Riverside platform's pretty sleek and easy. It records in the website, and then I edit it in the website, so my little computer here doesn't have to think too hard and explode with all these gigabytes because I got the $300 computer from Costco, and super sleek. So yeah, thanks for listening. Please continue
Yeah.
if you're in the middle of something. Just want to make sure everyone's caught up.
Yeah, I guess one thing I did want to throw in there is just for some closure, for some people who are listening, when we talk about fact or fiction, it's basically referring to uh, and now space. When we refer to the now space, basically the fiction is when it is conveyed, the contracts are conveyed in past and future tense, and the fact, which is now space, is all conveyed in now space. There's no prefixes or suffixes that designate past tense or future tense. It's all written in now space. So there's there's that. Just wanted to give a
Word.
little bit of closure on that.
Thank you. Yeah. So for those who don't know, everything in the legal world is written outside of the now space in fiction. For example, United States of America. They were united. They are not now. The unity states would be the correct words to say if that was a now space scenario. If that was occurring now, which we're only ever doing is occurring now. So these word games pull us out of now and put us in a place of fiction and fraud. And that's just one word. If you look at basically every legal definition, they all say general things like if at one point, therefore, once before, but only after the fact, if this by that, like multi-dimensional per sentence. And a citizen can't comprehend that because it's written in babble. Entangle your mind with all these fiction draining knots, and then you hire an attorney to interpret, and
Turn.
they work out, yeah, interpret, but I quoted it. That put the in there
No, no,
because
because you said.
in.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I want to hear what that was.
Oh, because you
That
said
detail.
attorney, and then I was like, yeah, they turn it around, turn things around.
Yeah,
The
they turn
words.
things around, and they also work out deals with the judges and the DA because they're all in the same secret society, and they have an oath to the court, not to their client. So we're outside of that whole warlock circus in the now space, and we have treaties, and we're at peace. We're neutral from their situation, and the AI that controls that frequency, this galactic AI, has been recognizing us outside of their ledger and just cruises by all the time in the field. So yeah, where was I? But where was I going with that? I think I was just going over the words. Oh yeah, everything's future and past tense, like Mikey said. And when we switch to now space grammar, people show up to the now space because they've never heard anyone talk like that. And when you break a word open, I think we should break a word open. The best word.
There's so many.
But impeccable's my favorite because it opened up.
Impeccable's a
This
great
is
one.
like impeccable's great because there was 5 words that came out of it, and
Yeah,
I use them all the time.
yeah.
So im is a prefix, impeccable, and I'll start off by saying the 4 agreements, impeccability of word was really key to me, and I've been using that for years, and it helped a lot. But then we got to impeccable. I'm like, well, wait, I am means no. Like impossible means not possible. So what's peccable? And then I don't know if you knew at the time or if we looked it up. Do you remember what peccable stood for?
Uh, when I remember looking it up, it talked about peck was like uh, with sin.
That's right.
It was with
That's
sin.
right. You're so right. So peck, the root was like Latin and it meant with sin. And then so implied that it
Yeah.
was not with sin. And And you were kind of like, that makes sense. I was like, no, but it's not with sin. So we're not going to say with sin, that A. And
Yeah.
and we're like, well, what's it really mean to say? What are we truly trying to say? And I was like, well, what's the opposite of sin? And I was like, I don't really know. So we went to like the antonym dictionary, which tells you the opposites, and a bunch of words came up, but we curated five. Curate is one of them. Is it? Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
And they are holy. So the opposite of sin is holy, which has a spiritual tone to it, but is also of the whole. And the original, the root words of like sin is to be separated from self. And, separate is the opposite of whole. So there's holy, complete, concise, instead of precise, cise, because pre means before, and cise is to cut and be direct. And correct. Correct, cise, curate, complete, holy. And so these five words, it's what it just reminded me of? The Greek word for love, which has four different types of loves. And when you start opening your mind to these others, then you know love more. So when you open up impeccable, you know what holy, correct, complete, cise, curate, and all that jazz means more. And as when you get that closure, which you have, whoever's listening just got, now you have the tools to communicate with more correctness and be correct with your words instead of impeccable. And when you say curate or curate for the first time, or cise, watch as people. I noticed you said cise. Can you tell me more about that? And they're right here in the now space. It just like takes all the chatter out of their brain, and they're like, "Oh, what was that? Can you tell me a little more about that?" And that's when the portals start opening. And when I was studying the legal system, it was putting more knots in my brain. Everything of legalese put more knots and tangles in my brain, and it was harder to sleep at night, even when some of the codes would help my situation at the time. But now space grammar, quantum syntax grammar knowledge, and now space and postal mechanics, these open things in my mind. So as you learn more, there's just more expanse and more opening and clearance for everything, though, not just for contracts. Like everything in life has been affected all the time, every dimension of it. And Mikey and I talk a lot. We know it's unlocking our DNA to the fullest, and that's why we walk around and we're like, wow, people are in so much fear. What a trip. Because we've normalized this freedom, this free mind. And yeah, this podcast so we can keep it going and share it with y'all. For those of you who are listening in the quantum now space, quantum now space.
Yeah, another word I would
Any
like to break down
Go for it.
is
Yeah.
uh, which powerful one is the word present. Of course, I'm always breaking that one down,
Yeah.
and that just hits home for so many people because I mean it's so easy. Anyone can look it up and verify it in that now space if they want to, or they
Mm-hmm.
can just believe whatever they're told and keep on going down that path. But teach their own. But pre is prefix meaning before. And then you have the root of that word, which is sent, which is Latin for sentire, to feel. So when you are in the present moment, you are feeling before. You are not feeling now.
You
And
were in the
that is,
before.
it's like, it's not now. However, before it is, it's not now. So yeah, and that's a big one. And the more I talk to people, the more I break down the words, and it cuts through all sorts of BS and like people's philosophy and theology and all this other
Opinions.
stuff. Yeah, yeah, old opinions.
Definitely cuts the AI.
Yeah, and it just totally gets it down at a fundamental level. Because I was talking to my brother, Jimmy, and and I was talking about that. It's like I don't get into any of that with any of the people. I just break down the words, and every single time it has hit home. Every single time it has hit home. People have had that aha moment, because there is something to it. When you start changing these words in your now space and not thinking about later, like in hindsight, oh, I should have done this, but literally stopping and correcting yourself in that moment, and then it it changes everything. You know, and it's just
Oh
I
yeah.
can really see how much of a difference it has made being out in the field more. I'm like, wow. Uh, and then I'm getting more and more hits to teach, to do classes, and
Oh yeah.
even Jill said that. So
Yeah. Well,
it's
this is that. This is the first. This as we speak. This is the first one of that. A very casual conversation, but this is the Keys and Codes podcast. You're doing it, man. We're doing it, and I want to speak on just the general dynamics for the left brains listening. The words are so vital. In the beginning was the word, and words create everything. And as you think of all your human dynamics, the words are dictating how the flow goes and is cleaned up after or whatever, expanded upon, all these things. And the field outside the humans, the field, the universe around you literally is listening to you speak. This throat chakra takes your thinking that is within your spirit, however you want to look at it, your consciousness, and translates it into physical form through your throat chakra. And these vibrations, everything is vibration, everything is frequency. They are listening. Every point of the universe is conscious and listening to your commands. So when your commands are holy, curate, size, complete, and correct, it can spawn and give you exactly what you wanted very quick in this now space. A lot easier than when it is all babbled out, and it can feel what you want and you're working hard to get it, but the words are you're in the mud and you don't know it. And that's why that mattress, I was like, I just spoke. I was like, man, I want an organic mattress, but what does that mean? And I got to do research. And the next day, she's like, got you a brand new organic bamboo mattress. And I said, now space. Wow. I don't even have to do research anymore. It's getting quicker. So the curacy of your words, curate means to like curate for a gallery and select wisely out of all your options. The curacy of your words really helps the universe be like, oh, that was smoothly asked for, sir. My beloved son or daughter. Here's your mattress. Here's your bowl of fruit on tap. It's outside in every direction, kind. And and this is due to cymatics. Many things. The universe can feel your volition, but cymatics, which are how frequencies affect others and which words and spoken things that basically have word claims to them, the field can hear it and move it forward, as well as neutrinos, because your word speaks out and the neutrinos go through in a physics level, quantum physics, they go through and touch everything around you. So the more accurate and correct and complete your word is, the more the neutrinos take it to whoever needs to hear it 5,000 miles away in a second, and they get that download too. Like, oh, maybe I should do that thing. Oh, let me see if they're ready. Oh, yeah, I got this thing. Oh, I was just thinking about that. Weird. And we're all noticing that happen more often. Yes, we are. So, yeah, so
yeah.
curate is a great one. Size is to cut. Complete, I think, self explanatory. Correct. So you choose the words based on what you're trying to do. Like if it's technical information, correctness is key. But if you're using humans that you're having a casual conversation with, curacy might be best. But if you're speaking to someone who's trespassing you, then you might need to be more concise and cut through that, cut their words down. And when they kind of show up to the now space, then you could switch into curate mode where they're ready to hear now on another level. Boo, 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 boo.
The other day I got a great analogy on manifestations,
Okay.
and I figured you would appreciate it. But it
All
was
right.
basically like, um, it's like people are trying to manifest and create this world, their personal world, uh, and they're using their words, but obviously like their words are getting mixed up. There's mixed signals between your voice and the universe, receiving it. It's like the universe, like, okay, I feel your volition, but what you're saying isn't matching up to your volition. Okay, so it's like, first off, it's like sometimes like people try to manifest, they put the wrong address, and if so that manifestation never gets to them, you know, because they didn't use the right words to help guide that to them, and then if they did use some more accurate words, then and then was still lacking in some areas. It's like they got the address right, but they didn't they got like economy shipping, and it's going to be on like it's going to take forever, But when you
Three
get like those
months.
words, yeah, when you get those words correct, and and cure it, it's like you guys first class, 1 day priority manifestations, you know,
Yes, well said.
and it's like well, we're all shipping, so it's I that was a great analogy too, because and I was talking to Jim about that, and that just came through when I was talking. But yeah, it totally feels like that. When you get more precise with your words, and your volition and everything that's lining up, those manifestations come quick. You know,
Hmm.
it's abundance.
Yes, yes, dude. My went from whatever to super abundance in the last week. Now I've been speaking this into existence for a while, and now it's now. I I'll be doing more vlogs of the farm and how much is really going on here. It's a really beautiful
That'd be cool.
situation.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I vlogged the trip out here, but I haven't even stopped to vlog the farm. I'm like, I'm just gonna wait for the day where I'm vlogging the farm today
Yeah,
because there's
yeah.
so much everywhere. There's no rush. All kinds of things I've never seen. Easy to do tutorials on how to build garden beds and compost soil and all these dynamics, and it's just it's the golden sea. It's like the knowledge that people are wanting now. Like how to this is a successful off-grid setup. Very successful. They
Yeah.
have solar power. We got Starlink. I'm podcasting through Starlink, bro. I don't even have to pay for it. The I was like 1440p the first video I loaded. It was instant. I'm like, what the heck
Wow.
was that?
Wow.
Super H. I don't even know if my screen has 1440p, but it was streaming in 1440p instantly. And I'm like,
Wow.
dude, welcome to the now space. And so I'm like, whoa, dude, I could podcast, I can DJ stream, I can whatever all the time. It's the foundation is laid, and the view is, dude, it's it's shocking. And so, yeah, spoken into existence. Didn't do the normal route of Craigslisting or paying for anything really. Paid for gas to get here.
Yeah, we're
Um,
past that.
we're, pa-
Yeah.
we're past it. Here's some. Oh, I did. I already talk about the.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spoke that right into existence.
They were like,
All the
I
cob
hear
is
you.
here. I know you do. This is for everyone else.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
So
The people at the farm, they were like, "Yeah, I heard you." That's like,
they heard
they're like,
me.
yeah,
God, they heard me so much, and they knew it. They were like, "We see that twinkle in your eye, sir. Do it. Let's start. See if you feel like doing the work." But from a currency gaining perspective, I'm like, if this is smooth and fun, there's all my currency gains. Like as far as extra things that I want,
yeah, yeah,
like
funsies.
funsies. The
Yeah.
funsies, the moped stuff and the toy stuff and just whatever recording. And then of course focusing on the macro gains. I'd like to bring up Life Plan, or not necessarily the platform, but what is
Concept.
Mike? Yeah, well, we have quite a few projects. So for those, we found an amazing platform called Life Plan, which helps you put together a business model, business plan, and slide deck. And this is key, as Billy Carlson mentioned. He has people hitting him up for ideas all the time. He's got inbox and voicemails full of ideas, but to this day, no one has brought him a business model, a business plan, and a slide deck. And this platform puts together easy. Now, I'm familiar with these because I mentored, or I was a mentee of a venture capitalist in the Silicon Valley, a gentleman by the name of Randy Haken. He's a solid brother, and he taught me a lot. Every day he would just go from meeting to meeting to meeting with all these millionaire, billionaire types. And they just lived a different lifestyle. And when they talked about ideas, people had, if you had those three things, they could take you serious. but there was a lot of great ideas that might not have had any of the three or only had one or two. But most were lacking the business model. How are you going to generate currency? How does that look? And there's a business model canvas for anyone looking. Google it. You'll see the images of it. It's very straightforward. Helps you gather your thoughts and etc. Anyway, Mikey and I have many projects, and what I want to ask Mikey right now is, what's the first project you plan to use the platform for, to create, raise funding for these mega gains for the community and the globe? And if you could just tell us about that and why that's number one.
Yeah, so I think the first one I'm gonna do that for is what really came to mind was the transmutation of Maui into the now space, and using all of these, different avenues, using the grammar, using contract, using the heart, using community, using all of this stuff to put into this model plan, and as well as the cover letter I channeled, but putting this stuff in and creating something comprehensive that anybody
Mm.
looking at it can get a general idea of what is about to go down.
Woo!
So yeah, and I'll be showing this as well to the property owners in Paia to get that property to
Mm-hmm.
help to get that
Oh
unlocked.
yeah.
So
Got it. I get it.
that's part of that. So that's like once I
Yes,
get that
sir.
foundation down, then I can actually convey this to people in a manner that it's they can see. It's not just audio, but it's visual now.
Yeah, with the
So
geoships for Lahaina
yes, yeah,
and all of it. Beautiful.
all of that. Yeah. So
Ooh, go
that's what I
on,
plan
go
on doing.
on.
And
Okay.
yeah.
That's a good one. Just do
The
is is mana
mana token?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Everything we've been talking about is going to be in it,
Perfect.
and it's going to be there'll be stuff compounded as well as I'm channeling and as I'm in the flow.
Word.
So
Beautiful.
yeah,
Well, things are getting easier. So just as we speak everything into existence, and when Mikey points his energy at something, he goes hard in the paint and is has taught me the definition of thoroughness with anything he does. Thoroughness is bodied. So he's going to be very thorough with these things, and I will of course back you up and channel as much as I can. And that's a great that's a great thing to start because everything's under it and part of it. So
yeah,
I'm down with it, and we will get global support swiftly. Swiftly.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And like, I can easily send you like a draft before it's like all done, or I can have it done and then send it to you and then edit it from there. So it's like either way.
Well, I already intuitively know that you're going to build it in the platform, so I'll be able to just log into the platform and look at what you got going and maybe add or put notes on it or something.
Gotcha.
Like this Riverside platform is super advanced and easy. I'm sure Live Plan is about the same
Yeah,
intuitiveness and um,
yeah,
ability to work together. So you can just put me as like a contributor
okay,
access or something, and maybe not full admin. That way, as I add things, unless you want me full admin too, I'm down for either. But
either, either.
I think admin might be best, and then I'll probably just put notes or highlights of changes, and then you can always just look at the suggested things and we could talk it out. So that's something we could do, little clips here and there on the podcast too. Like, hey, we want to look at this part, the monotoken right now and how it's going to bring currency to everyone and
Yeah,
help everyone get rich and be able to live on their homeland.
yeah.
As
Get out.
as we as we heal the earth,
Yeah,
get
yeah.
rich AF.
Get from under all these debts, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
these siphonings. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Dope. That's perfect. If you had that, I'm going to do my first one, PAPI-VERSE, which is just everything Poppy. Not just the music, but the super fluid and
the
the
game,
I
all of
the
that.
game. So I want to talk about the game because I'm curious what you think of Aloha Verse or Aloha as the game. Something other than, so like PAPI-VERSE is the entire realm, and the game is part of it. The music is part of it. The NFTs.
Gotcha.
So I feel like the game can have its own name, which doesn't necessarily need to have Poppy in it.
Yeah.
Um, Aloha comes to mind because essentially what we're doing in the field in the now space, we're creating a virtual place where people can learn all of these skills from farm, super awesome farming and soil healing techniques, as well as like how to help turtles when they're caught in fishing lines, and education on certain things that are bad for the reef, and make game dynamics out of these, similar to Grand Theft Auto style. And then also have not just the nature, but the city urban. Like you're going to start off in LA one way or the other. You're starting off in it, and food's expensive, and you got a job, you got to show up. And you're like, how do I get out of this? And then you learn how to heal your soil at your place you have, and grow food, and do these things that start healing from the urban elements within. Bringing aloha to everything, or I mean, heaven on earth is actually the abbreviation for heaven on earth is pretty funny. So I was kind of thinking that's
Oh.
that's an option, but I'm open. If you have any thoughts or ideas, it doesn't need to be Poppy specific. I'll be a character in the game. I'll be
Yeah,
the
yeah.
DJ General, you know, and Guardian of the Realm, or whatever we call of the verse. But um, it doesn't need to be about me at all. But all my music.
Yeah, I mean,
There'll be
yeah, I
Abundance
mean,
Radio in your car.
part of Siri, the Sirius radio,
Both
Sirius XM.
in the game and on Sirius XM everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be a good idea though.
But
Like to like change, you could like name it like a Aloha Spirit verse, or like yeah, there's many ways you can go about it
mhm.
based on what you're trying to convey, or you know, now space verse.
I want
Yeah,
I want the title boop people right in the heart through all that fear, and just be like boop, and their heart just gets warm and kind of grows right then when they hear it, like Aloha Rangers, like Aloha Rangers
yeah,
instead of
yeah,
the police. Aloha Rangers. We nailed it with that one. So Aloha something, Aloha verse seems like it's not complete enough for anyone who's never heard of it. Maybe it is, but when it rings like Aloha Ranger.
yeah, yeah.
So I guess more to come there. If anyone has ideas, please.
What's
Yeah.
what's like a T word like I was thinking like
For
GTA, like grand something awareness or something, or grand
ooh,
transcendental awareness or something. I don't know.
I know. I think you're on.
Let's less poop and more like brain to the third eye kind.
Yeah.
But something like that. Like a
No,
little
you're onto it.
something that
GT,
somebody maybe has
and it
reference
could
to.
sound like something that rhymes with T, like GDA or GPA. No, GTA. Keep it GT.
Yeah. Yeah, because that'll pull a lot of people. I mean, and people already have some type of connection to that. So that'll automatically pull them in just from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
And then you already got them. So, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna just speak it into existence. Part of it that could make it all super easy is if this Aloha verse or whatever it is, the altered GTA, we partner with Grand Theft Auto and build it into the game, so people have the option to follow these more in a more like esoteric spiritual way within that super crime filled environment, and start shifting it. And you know what'll like give them motivate them to do so, because they'll get paid to do it, because superfluid will be the reward for doing these positive performances. Superfluid is my cryptocurrency I've minted under the PAPI-VERSE. So it'll be a first now space currency, and partnered with Mana, of course. People will be like, "Oh, I love shooting and all this stuff." You're like, "Yeah, but I made like $15,000 last week doing these, myceliating my soil in this virtual in GTA." And everyone in the universe would be like, "Wait, what? The what now?" Because this is already Aloha Rangers training, the virtual version where you're thinking moves the vessels, getting that thinking going, and getting paid to learn life skills, getting paid to grow your awareness.
Yeah.
And as it, circulates within the game, that does create a current as well. So, speaking it in, I don't get how it all the technicals go down, but I would love it for it to just be easy.
Yeah. It will be
And
too.
yeah, so my life plan will be focused on PAPI-VERSE as a whole, and the game is one of the things, and the currency is another, and the music and NFTs. Whew. Yeah, like constant downloads, more things I want to research and create, and I'm like, okay, what am I doing today? I'm like one step at a time, one moment at a time, and minding self to plenty of time to do it all. Got, Mikey and I are on the tip where we were reprogramming our telomeres and going to live as long as we feel like. I'll be here at least 200 years. I could feel it. If I feel like sticking around another 1,000, I will. But
Yeah.
that's already known. And youthing instead of aging. I look young AF. It's ridiculous. I'm not as young as I look. But I'm older than time. And that's becoming more and more clear as well. I'm starting to get this free, like, dude, I've been around since before time. Like, I can feel it. I don't know it all, but I feel it. It resonates super true. And one of my friends, when she channeled, it was legit Galactic Federation channeling. She told me, she was like, "You are one of the original authors of the Emerald Tablets." And I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Oh, this is before Atlantis. This is before time. This is before Earth and time. The original creating of the Emerald Tablets." I'm like,
Probably like in the higher
I
dimensions.
I feel the truth, but wow. And so I'm feeling being around before time now, and just letting that, open up things internally. Yeah, it's dope. I'm excited for people to hear what we're talking about because most don't get to hear us talk
Sure.
at our normal level. And I was sharing a lot with Kelly the other day, and she was listening fully conscious. And at the end, she's like, "I love the way you talk." And I was like, "Yeah, I just curate well so that we can, I care so much. I want this to land as best as possible," and broke down words. And she was like, "Wow, yes, all that." And our conversation was portaled out and very catalytic and heartfelt due to, the words and the now space awareness coming
So,
to a now space near you. Yeah. Yeah, I'm feeling super blessed, man. The owner, Beth, she's like superstar, savage on all fronts, and super grateful. She is grateful to me for me as well, and just constantly expressing that while teaching me so much, constantly expressing gratitude and making me feel super welcome, and definitely has done her part to like myceliate this way of life into the consciousness. And I feel like I'm coming in on. I'm ready to take it global. I got an agenda, and I've got an agenda, and it's to get all these keys and codes to everyone. And Amanda was asking great questions the other day, saying, "So what's like the point of all this? Like, what are you hoping to achieve with all this stuff?" Because this was like in the resistance when I was like untying knots. She's like, "Well, what's the point of all this?" But it was a great question because what came through is, I just want people to be free from fear, and to find courage, to courage to love and be authentic and live a life that their dreams are coming true. Peace is part of that. And I just want everyone to thrive. I want us all to thrive. No one, scarcity gone. We're just thriving. And then by then it was like there was no more resistance on that. She was like, "That's great." I'm like, "It is. Thanks for asking because it helps." That's all going in the PAPI-VERSE mission, models and whatnot. Um, and that's why I want you to connect with her because she's tapped into the heart space and she's a Care Bear and wants to work. Just gotta get those knots out and clear the perspective so the effort can go towards the solution and not perpetuating, sustainability,
Yeah.
sustaining the old paradigm. Yeah. So what else, bro? What else? What's another highlight?
So much has been happening. Once, let me think for a second.
I'll jump in while you think.
Yeah.
The view, I could see the Milky Way at night, every night. And the view from the farmhouse is so epic. I was just sitting on this chair and all the first night and every night these like orbs are appearing over the ocean and they're talking to me. And a couple of them got similar to this one other experience I got. They came down lower and were over the tree lines on the left and right. More or less like, "Come on out, bro. We're here." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm chilling in this chair, but you guys can come all the way if you want. You know, the roommates can handle it, I feel." It is the nighttime is very magical, mystical, galactic, very and cozy, very galactic. Like it's more grounded during the day, but at night it's galactic. And I get to ground through that as I walk around because there's frogs everywhere and I don't want to step on them. And they're the
Yeah.
cutest little guys. I love them, but they're everywhere at night. And they're hopping around all cute, but if you don't look at what you're doing, you'll kick them and step on them. First 5 seconds outside, I ran into one. And so then you're staring at the ground, literally walking slow at night to not go, playing Frogger, but you're the frog. And
Yeah.
that's rich. And yeah, it's it's every night. It's on. That's been. I love that. Instead of running into like weird city dynamics and people on drugs and drinking and turning up, it's like frogs and apples falling from trees and orbs descending from the stars.
Yeah, it's even a step up from just from the apartments. Like, yeah, I mean, obviously a step up from the city, but just
Hmm.
a step up from Kihei, like when we were living, and just the foot traffic that was around there, and the whole container that creates. It's like
Yeah.
freed up on in many ways.
Yeah. Yeah. Much more space,
Yeah.
which gives a lot more clearance to think and know yourself, do the inner work. It gets very obvious what's going on inside when I'm the only one around. Like, I'm talking that much internally. Oh, that's a bit much. Let's turn that down. What can I do to turn that down? Okay. Do I want to do that? Why don't I? Or why do I? And there's been some powerful activation energy a couple nights of my third eye where it's just like really portaling out, but my brain doesn't hurt like it did in the city. It's like out of balance. It's just clearly activating. And there's
Are you
like a
calling Kihei the city?
download. Yeah.
Okay, you were confusing me for a second there.
There's no street lights within miles of me, like probably 20 miles or 10 miles. Um, the town or society. Yeah, it's just different. Yeah, Kihei does feel like a city compared, but Kihei's like paradise compared to San Jose.
Yeah, yeah.
Any other highlights come up that you'd like to share?
Um, Not specifically coming to mind. No, not at the moment.
Well, I'll just jump on the KTM adventures. I definitely feel called to get a motorcycle soon and welcoming it into the now space. There's the KTM 390, which is dope, and I just saw that there's a KTM 250, which looks beautiful. It's got sick custom paint job of its own that I really like, and I'm curious if that's like what I should go to next, or the 390, and then next year, 2025, there's a whole new generation of the 390 that looks even sicker. So these are in my now space, like right here. Like they're like, what universe? Like which one you want, bro? Because it might just show up, and I'm curious. If any of those resonate more than others. Like, should I be more safety and ease into it, or
I mean, it's
more
more of the weight.
outstanding?
It's less of the power of the machine and more of like the weight of the machine. That's what
Hmm.
ultimately is the the safety part of it all, really. So, of course,
Okay.
always. But yeah, I would say the weight, and going from there, because like the 250 might be like 200 pounds lighter, which is
Fuck.
quite significant. I don't know. I don't know the weights of
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
So
yeah. The video I said saw that they weigh the same, and I was like, that can't be true. So I'll confirm with the forensics, official published forensics, and
yeah,
then I'll actually look into the next model and see if it's miraculously lighter, because that would be interesting.
yeah, I'd be curious. Curious.
Bro, and then community mate Del Mario, he has a ruckus.
Yeah, Mario.
He has Del Mario is his name. He's pretty bright. He's a cool dude. He has a ruckus, and he's like, "Oh, I got a moped." He opens it. He got it for $1,200. It's clean and it's upgraded. I was like, "Bro, I want that. Whenever you're getting rid of it, you
Yeah.
know." And he's pretty content with it, but it's clean and it's got this like beige, like this bougie cheek, like a rose kind, and it's clean, bro. I'm like, dude, you got a ruckus? He's like, I don't even know what it is. I just bought it from the homie down the street for 1,200. I'm like, but he says he works on mopeds, the homie down the street, and this was just like an extra moped he was getting rid of.
Wow.
I'm like, oh, I want to meet that guy,
Yeah.
and and then I told him we're starting a island wide scooter gang and whatnot, and filled him in on that. But and I was talking to Beth, speaking things into existence. I'm like, yeah, just since I've been here, I feel called to get like, what did I say before I said, oh, a quad? Because there's a couple quads around here. I'm like, those look so fun, and for toting your stuff around. A horse, some horses, and an adventure bike. And like immediately later, there's horses walking by in the street outside the fruit stand.
Yeah.
Like three people, and we're like, yeah, I'm like, there's horses, and this
Yeah.
person's like, yeah, they live two properties down and they do horse tours. And I'm like, I probably will go work there soon to go learn horsing and
Yeah.
riding horses and brushing their hair and all this stuff, circulate the energy, maybe get a horse. I don't know. But, one of my goals is animal sanctuary and taking in horses that are retired and that would otherwise be killed because they're too expensive or something. And I'm like, no, I'll love you forever. And we'll do horse healing retreats. But the adventure bikes, horses, and quads apparently. And I say this to Beth. She's like, yeah. She's like, yeah. I want these things and other things. Like opened it up. She's just like, yeah, and other stuff too. Yeah, yeah. I want these things. All right, cool.
Right.
Right. She egged it on.
No reason
She
to
didn't.
limit.
She wasn't like that's. She wasn't like, oh, you want a horse? We don't do horses here. She was like, yeah, no. Rock star. Rock star. Yeah. It's a whole new dimension that I'm much more in harmony with. Um, Surrendering to the flow and being like, this is definitely, absolutely where I'm supposed to be at. Woo!
Yeah. No, I feel that. I feel the same way. You're meant to be there over there right now, and I'm meant to be doing what I'm doing right now and just cruising and shifting the field wherever I go.
Mm-hmm. One thing I thought of is in between the weeks, as we're talking on the podcast, if any questions come up for the other one that are really good questions, to like write them down for when we meet up. Like, this would be a good question to ask Mikey next time I talk to him, and I'll save it for the podcast.
Okay.
Excuse me. So I think that'll be really good. Obviously, we can just hit the ground running, but something about that will be very. It'll be priming the conversation, similar to the prayer fields.
Yeah. Okay. I'm done with that.
Are there any challenges at this time that I could set some space for solution around the life plan and the business modeling and etc.? Any
Not
specific?
specifically, no. Um,
Okay.
I mean, you can just put energy towards like the live plan, and what that is going to be all about, and have your higher self connect with my higher self, and your people meet my people, and we'll go from there. You know, but not specific.
Absolutely. My one of my community mates noticed my pirate eye's been going off,
Ah.
and she gets a kick out of it. And I'm like, you know what? It's been going off a lot more often since I've been here. Just like take it over. And I know it's the right stuff when the pirate eye comes out. It's like, well, that's the super sauce. It
Yeah.
hits deep. I was saying that too. Cool.
All right,
I'm
brother.
feeling
Well,
pretty complete about the podcast.
same.
How are you feeling?
I'm pretty same.
Dope.
I'm floating
So,
around and relax.
word. I don't know what I'll do next. Probably eat, but feel great about this. Thank you for showing up and sharing. And I guess does Saturdays work, or we'll shoot for Saturdays, or I mean, once a week will probably be a pretty
I'm down for once a week. I don't know about a set date yet, just because it's still pretty ebb and
okay.
flow. But I'm certainly down to do once a week. And we can shoot for Saturdays. This is a general thing, and if it's within a few days, give or take, we'll just play it by ear.
The one thing I would point out is if you can find a quieter environment,
Yeah, yeah. They just
and
they just certainly got a lot louder right now.
yeah, and the quieter environment will make um otherwise the one you're
Yeah, I wouldn't
but
think more of a setup right now. I just I I got caught up trying to finish some point for somebody, and then I jumped right out from that into this. Uh, so oh,
I feel like nature, like at the beach or just somewhere.
yeah, I wanted to go to Paia. I just didn't want to have you wait another 30 minutes.
Where
So I was already,
cool.
yeah.
All good, bro. Just sharing what'll help us set the space, because naturally this is just going to get cleaner and cleaner, and we'll have like little things popping up on the screen. Oh yeah, click here to see the business slide deck now as we're talking. Kind.
Yeah, yeah.
So here, click here to buy mana and superfluid. Meow meow meow. So we're just easing into it. All right, brother. We'll close it up. Thank you, anyone who's listening. Hope you enjoyed. And until next time, brother.
Yeah, brother. Enjoy.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha.